Good evening and welcome to the Oxnard City Council regularly scheduled meeting, October 4th, 2016. It's just a little bit after 6 and we have standing room only. The only thing is we're going to have to try to clear away from the back door. So just so that people can actually get in and out of that door. Thank you very much, and we will stand for a pledge to the nation and a moment of silence, please. Councilman McDonald, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
Please place your hand over your heart and join me in saluting the flag of our nation by saying,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With the exception of the City Council, be seated, please. It's especially exciting that this evening we get to swear in a brand new police chief. Let's give him a round of applause. So it's a great day when we have one of Oxnard's own that has risen through the ranks and has made it all the way to the top of the police department. And arguably, we haven't had a chief that knows this city as well as Scott Whitney. And the people and the residents of the city of Oxnard are going to be well served. And I know that he has his family members up here that are accompanying him. And we're going to make sure that he is then sworn in by the city clerk. So we'll go ahead and proceed with that ceremony, please.
Go, Scott.
I now have the distinct honor of swearing in Scott Whitney as the 21st Police Chief in the history of City Police Chief Department, history of the Oxnard Police Department. Chief, please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Scott Whitney, do solemnly swear
I, Scott Whitney, do solemnly swear
that I will willingly and enthusiastically accept the duties and responsibilities
that I will willingly and enthusiastically accept the responsibilities
of the position of Chief of Police for the City of Oxnard.
of the position of Chief of Police for the City of Oxnard.
I promise to discharge those duties to the best of my ability
I promise to discharge those duties to the best of my abilities
in accordance with city and departmental policy,
in accordance with city and departmental policy,
state and federal law, and by the guidance of core values of the police department.
state and federal law, and by the guidance of the core values of the police department.
I acknowledge that I will be held to a standard of conduct higher than the average citizen
I acknowledge that I have been held to a standard of conduct higher than the average citizen
in both my professional and private life,
in both my professional and private life,
and that I will rely on the law enforcement code of ethics to help me meet that expectation.
and I will rely on the law enforcement code of ethics to help me meet that expectation.
I further acknowledge that I am trusted with a great responsibility
I further acknowledge that I am trusted with great responsibility
of protecting the rights, property, and lives of those who live and work in this community.
of protecting the property, the lives, the rights of those that live and work in this community.
I pledge to be fair,
I pledge to be fair,
just,
just,
and impartial to fulfilling that responsibility.
and impartial to fulfilling that responsibility.
And I will proudly wear this badge,
And I will proudly wear this badge,
not only as a symbol of my authority,
not only as a symbol of my authority,
but as a reminder of my community's trust in me.
but as a reminder of my community's trust in me.
I shall be uncompromising in my allegiance
I shall be uncompromising in my allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the state of California.
and the state of California.
I equally dedicate my service to the city of Oxnard
I equally dedicate my service to the city of Oxnard
and to the community
and to the community
I am sworn to protect.
I am sworn to protect.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Attaboy, Scotty.
Go Scott.
Don't go forward.
Scott's only going to talk for like 20 or 30 seconds.
I did not expect to see this many people here, so thank you all. It really means a lot. I appreciate it. Those that know me, and everybody here, you all know me, you know I'm not one that likes to be the center of attention. I don't like to have my own parties, so you guys can't be clapping too much for me. Just let me get through this. I actually like to just keep my head down and do the work, but I truly do appreciate the recognition and your presence here. And Mayor and Council, thank you. Welcome everybody. This is, next to getting married and having kids, it's hard to top this, so thank you for your presence. I want to thank the City Manager. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the trust. Thank you for not dodging the problems that our city is facing. I promise I'll work hard to make sure that people think this was a good decision on your part. You guys know I worked for the last 20 months in the city manager's office. I work very closely with Maria and the rest of the senior leadership team, as well as employees from essentially four departments: Public Works, which is primarily our utilities, but also our housing department, economic development, and development services. And I'll tell you, I've met just a tremendous number of hardworking employees committed to this city, and I want to thank them for that. It really meant a lot. I knew nothing about housing or economic development or utilities, but we have a good, strong technical people, so I want to thank them for their work over the last 20 months and helping me do my job. As I look out in the audience, somebody actually mentioned it to me, Eric, right before the meeting started. He says, "This is like the history of your life," and it truly is. This is the history of my 50 years here. Essentially, everybody is here. You guys all added to my character. You guys mentored me, carried me when I needed it. Kind of gave me the tools to get to this point. So it's hard for me not to stand up here and get sentimental and just, probably not everybody knows, but there are teachers here from junior high school. Everybody's favorite teacher at Fremont, Freddie Grady. Can you stand up, Freddie? In my mind, when I came here, I was like, I am not going to individually point people out because I'm going to miss. Like, everybody here is deserving. I'm going to miss it, but I couldn't help it. Miss Grady, sorry about that. But I have several teachers, coaches, Little League coaches. Mr. B, Mr. Bristlinger coached just about every Little League team I was on. High school coaches, my college coach from Ventura College, Gary Anglin's here. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. Kids, friends from the neighborhood, friends from junior high, high school, college. One of my best friends from college, Andre Williams. Please raise your hand. I met Andre at Oxnard High School. We played football. He went up to University of Oregon before I did. Actually, Andre and another one of our friends, Andy Sunio from Challenge High School, put Oxnard on the map up in Oregon. When I got up there, Andre looked after me. So we've been friends ever since. So thanks, Andre, and his wife Tracy. Thank you guys. Daniel, can you start the clock on me, please? I want to thank my new friends and my partners in crime prevention. The sheriff is here, along with the district attorney, the chiefs of police from the cities and the county, the CHP, the leadership from CHP in the area. Thank you. Appreciate your attendance here. Oxnard really is blessed, and the county is blessed with having such a great law enforcement relationship, so we need to keep that up. Thank you, Sheriff. Actually, I went to my first county chiefs meeting last week, and when I came back, I told Eric and Jason, I said, when I go to our police briefings, most of the people there are like young enough to be my kids, so I feel old. And I tell them I have 26 years of experience, and they have like no idea what that means. Then I went to the county chiefs meeting, the sheriff's talking about 36 years, so I'm like, it makes me feel young. I gotta go to more of the... I have to hang out with the sheriff more often. I do have a problem once I get this, I can't give it up. My wife Donna, my son Luke, and my daughter Peyton. My oldest daughter Elle, she's in college, and she has a class where she said, if I'm not there for this class, I may not pass the class. So we said, go to the class, and you can watch it on video later. But thank you guys. I won't talk too much about my family because I get emotional. I'm a little private, so I won't talk too much about my family. But thank you for all your support and the sacrifices. Everybody that's in law enforcement knows their families make a lot of sacrifices. So thank you guys for your support and your sacrifices. They actually, little inside joke for the city manager. My background investigator had asked my wife, do you have any idea, the stress, the pressure that your husband is getting himself into? And she said, well, you obviously don't know the job he's coming from. My mom, Millie Whitney, in the front row, please raise your hand. Raised 5 kids, 3 of us became police officers. She moved into Oxnard in the early 60s. She watches every single council meeting. She'll usually call me on the way home or the next day to talk about the meeting. So, then my mother-in-law Yoli is standing behind her, or sitting behind her. Yoli, please raise your hand. Yoli also moved to Oxnard in the 60s. She doesn't watch every meeting, but she watches some. When I see her at special events, the one thing she always says is, the only thing I ever see is the back of your head. I usually sit in that chair there, so I'm going to have a better spot out in the audience. My second mother-in-law, Jan, is also here. Jan is Lisa's mom. Lisa, many of you know. Lisa was my wife and sheriff's deputy. She was killed in 1998, and Jan has been a rock with the family. We've always been close, and we always will. And just another example of the sacrifices that families of law enforcement make. So thank you, Jan and Scott, her brother, and Patty, the Johnson family. Thank you guys for your attendance here. Appreciate it. I'll talk now about going back to the police department. And that's probably, for me, even, it's very emotional to talk about as well. I'm very fortunate to be going back to the Oxnard Police Department. It was my home for 25 years. It's an outstanding organization, well-run, professional, made up of very hardworking men and women, sworn and civilian. But my promise always to the community is that I'm never going to be satisfied with the status quo. We are going to continue to be a learning organization. We're always going to be looking to improve, and we are going to be obsessed with improving community safety in the city of Oxnard. I promise you that. That's a promise from all of us. Then the last thing I'll say in closing is I just want to thank the men and women that put the uniform on. I had no idea when I was getting in what I was getting into in 1990 when my older brother Roger talked me into applying with the department. Very tough job. We hire really good people, and then we give them the best training that's out there, and then we send them out to do a job that I had no idea. It's a very challenging job, and then we hold them to a very high standard. So the officers need to know that, the chief, the community, the leadership, they need to know that we support them, and we do. And so I'd like to just thank the police officers, the ones that are here. I am way over my time, so I'll just say thank you guys. I tried to talk to as many of you as I could before. I will try to talk to as many of you afterwards. I'd love to get pictures, shake everybody's hand, so thank you for your attendance. Thanks for coming. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.
And so while the Whitney family are taking pictures, we're going to be recessing here momentarily so that we could, I believe, have some cake, which is over here. And I know the city manager would like to say a few words, and then perhaps the council members also, please. Mr. Nyhoff.
Hey, Chief, can you hang out with your family up there for just a couple minutes? Because now we get to talk about you. I thought it was going to be hard to find somebody to talk more than me, but I think Scott, this is your day, and I have the honor of appointing you to this position. And to your family, we're proud of them, and I know you're proud of them. And thank you for supporting him, and you have for years, and you will continue that for our community. I want to thank the community for being out there, because you really verified the decision to make Scott Whitney our new chief. And, so for Scott, you don't become a chief by simply doing very little. You become a chief because you're a leader. And so for Scott, I wanted to say, Scott, that he has great experience in our police department. You know how to be you know policing very, very well. But I brought you and asked you to come up to the assistant city manager's position because I needed your leadership at a very difficult and challenging time. And you did that for me, and you did that for this community. And then you now fit in the right place as that leader and that experienced person in the police department. And I can't believe the smile I saw when I first saw you after you put that uniform on, that you are the right man for Oxnard, California.
Yes.
And my last comments will be just for the community. So Police Chief Whitney and I sat down before I made this decision, and we talked about what we can expect from Scott Whitney for our community. And I remember the most important points of it were we're going to improve and continue improving on our partnerships with our community, our community policing, inclusiveness, and certainly respect and honor for the officers that serve our police department. And that's who I wanted to see as the police chief. So Chief, thank you for that, and that's your promise, our promise for our community. The last thing I'll say is, I look at someone like you, Scott Whitney, and I like to use the word footprints. You are a very humble man. You're absolutely right. You don't like to sit up here and take credit for things. But I can promise you leave your footprints in this community. You already have, but you'll leave even more now that you're chief. We won't necessarily know that you have been here, but we will have known that you have been here by your actions and deeds. So congratulations leading us and getting this position moving forward, and I'm just happy to be able to be your city manager working with you in the future. Thank you.
So I know everyone's anxious to get the cake, and I'd ask members of the council, it would be unfair of me to not allow each and every council member to make a few remarks, and if we could hold it to 30 seconds if possible. And we'll start, of course, with Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, and thank the community for all being here to acknowledge the great choice that has been made by our city manager appoint Scott Whitney. Hometown boy makes good. I just know that you're going to do a wonderful job. There'll be difficult days, there always are in our life, but you'll be there to help us get through it. Thank you so much for accepting the challenge.
Thank you. Councilman Crowe.
Congratulations, Scott. It's amazing when I have very close friends that turn out to go to school with you, and then they meet more friends, and I meet more people that went through grammar school, junior high school with you. But I'd like to share one thing with the public. When Mr. Whitney attended his first closed session, and I'm not violating the Brown Act or confidentiality saying this, Mr. Whitney brought something that is very rare, and he exhibited it multiple times, but it took a while. And when he finally was asked, there's an old commercial for Wendy's. This lady comes up for a hamburger, and she asks, "Where's the beef?" Mr. Whitney brought common sense that for years has been missing in the city. I'm going to miss Mr. Whitney being on the other side of that wall. You have no idea what he did to help the city. I wish you the very best.
Councilman McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chief, welcome aboard. And have a fond affection for this agency as you do. I think the greatness of the person is measured by the greatness of the people that surround him or her when they're successful, and you surround yourself with the best here. So this is truly a tribute to your work in this community, and I look forward to a bright and beautiful future. Thank you.
Councilwoman Padilla.
Chief, congratulations. Thank you for your service. I got to know you, your capacity is more so as the assistant city manager, and I have to say to the public that I never heard Scott complain and or say anything negative about the city of Oxnard. He was here to serve, and he has dedicated himself to this city, and I want to thank you for that. And I don't think that we could have made a better choice in making you the leader of our police department. So thank you for your efforts and your service.
So I'll hold my remarks until we have two speakers who signed up to speak to this item, and it's important to call them up now. Very first one is Brian, and the last name it's hard to read here. I'm going to turn him over to your teacher, Mr. Chief Whitney. Brian Ellison. And the next one is Peter Martinez. Mr. Ellison.
Good evening, everyone. I really wanted to come up and say a couple of things. Most of you guys don't recognize me, but I worked for the city of Oxnard for a long time. That was back when my beard was black. And the president was white. I just wanted to say a couple of things about Scott, and I've known Scott for a long period of time. I've known the Whitney family. Their father was a mason that was as hardcore worker as you could imagine, and it trickled down to his boys. And the integrity that they have is much higher than you would expect. I mean, they're so quiet. All of them are quiet guys, but they go there and they work their butts off for the city of Oxnard. I remember specifically one thing that Scott said to me when he first started. And I had several years on, and Roger and I were really good friends. And Scott said something about when he played football in Oregon, and it stuck with me. He said, we're driving down the street, myself and 3 other African males were in the car with me. He was driving, and as he was going down the street, a black and white pulled up behind him. Scott was like, no big deal, he's gonna pull over to the curb and allow the officer to make contact with him. But the passengers were stiff as boards with their hands on the dashboard, and other guy in the back had his hands up. And, you know, they had a whole different response to that police contact. Scott said that it was an eye-opener to see what they were actually facing on that particular day, because he's never seen that before through his eyes. It's kind of like when you have a brand new Miata. You never notice Miatas on the road until you get one, and then all of a sudden you notice it. You know, you look at the drivers going by and whatnot. Well, that was the same effect that was with Scott. So from that day forward, I kind of watched Scott to see how he interacted with all of the people in the department and the community. And I realized at that point that Scott realized that there is some issues that need to be solved in our community with the black and Hispanic relationship with the police. If you took time out to really find out who these officers are, you'd find out that these guys started out as a blank canvas. They showed up and started doing the job. When they started doing the job, they'd never seen a woman beat up by a man because they came from homes that didn't have that. They never saw a child molested by his uncle or whomever or a relative. But over a period of time, those are slash marks on that blank canvas. Over a period of time, officers' personalities change. This man will not allow that to happen within the Oxnard Police Department. He will always be looking after his officers and supporting them through hard times and difficult moments, because believe me, if you look at the 3,100 calls that they handle, 2 detectives handle. We need more support for our police department. We need more people that are willing to come forward and support us, because it can't be done. This is your city. These are your officers. That's your chief. And the more support that you give them, the better job you're going to have, and you're going to feel satisfied knowing that these officers are your next door neighbors. I look over to this side of the room. I look at Adam Armstrong. I remember his little boys running around in diapers. They're now sheriff's deputies. They'll be working for Sheriff Dean and my boy. I'm sure Scott's kid's probably going to end up there, you know. All of these kids are now becoming police officers, and they need your support. And the police department needs you to stick with them and always check on them to make sure that they're doing well. And we're going to do really well with this guy. There's no guessing. We don't have somebody coming in from LA, Arizona, or anywhere else. We've got a guy that understands the industry. I don't know if you noticed, but on the news there's a lot of bad stuff going on with departments throughout the nation. The great thing is that we have support now that clearly understands. So thank you very much. We love you, man. Thank you.
Peter Martinez, please.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and members of the audience. Peter Martinez, I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Oxnard, so I'm very proud to be here this evening because This evening is a historic moment for our city because for the first time in recent times, we have one of our own, and I repeat, one of our own, as the Chief of Police of City of Oxnard. So Scott, a dear friend, congratulations. Also, I'd like to say that the Oxnard PD is no longer the fear department that it was when I was growing up in the Colonia. Its improved relationship with the community can largely be attributed to Scott. Scott is a person of integrity who is trusted and respected by all who know him. He is engaged with our community and serves it very well. Scott's leadership is respected both in the department and in the community. Everyone knows when you want results, you go to Scott. And I've said that before, and I'm sure I will say it again. If you want positive results, there's a man you go to, Scott Whitney. This evening is also historic because of the large and diverse group of people here in the chambers. Look around you and you will see family members, you will see educators, students, civic leaders, elected officials, and a whole lot of friends. This is the foundation for effective community policing. I repeat, this is a foundation for effective community policing. So I ask, look around. This is the foundation for effective community policing. And everyone is here because of one man, Scott Whitney. It is also historically significant that Scott's first day on the job was September 16th. El 16 de septiembre, Mexican Independence Day. This special day is even more special today because of Scott's leadership. Our city will now go in a very different and positive direction in terms of effective community policing. Again, Scott, congratulations on a well-deserved and long overdue promotion to chief. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I'll just conclude by saying, Scott, I'm thrilled that you're our new police chief. Are you guys thrilled?
Yes!
And I'm even more thrilled that you're not running for mayor. I'm very proud of you, and I know everyone here is just tickled pink about where you are today. And just those words they capture the moment. And the community is going to be even greater community because of your leadership and where you are today. And your family is a beautiful family, and I'm very proud of them and you. And Scott, you're one of the best things that's ever happened for Oxnard, so congratulations. And the City Council will now take a recess for the cake.
You're gonna have to show me how to use one of those.